Chosen one, heaven has been whispering your name for longer than you realize. The signs you've been seeing, the repeated numbers, the synchronicities, the sudden urge to move, to create, to change, they are not coincidences, they are confirmations. For too long you have been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect alignment, the perfect opportunity. But heaven has been waiting for you. The world around you isn't delayed, the response is waiting for your action. Every blessing, every breakthrough, every shift that has been prophesied over your life is standing by, ready to move the moment you decide to act. The divine has already prepared the path, but it cannot walk it for you. The next chapter of your story doesn't begin when you're ready, it begins when you move. Before we go deeper, I want you to take a deep breath and stay with me until the end of this message, because there is something powerful about to be unlocked within you. While you're here, I want you to write your warmest wishes in the comments below and end them with 777. This is not just a ritual, it's a declaration. When you write it, you're not only setting intention, you're sending vibration. You're aligning your energy with the frequency of heaven itself. Your words carry energy, your faith carries motion, and your motion carries manifestation. Heaven hears movement, not hesitation. So write your wish, claim your destiny, and prepare for the shift that begins when you act. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when waiting becomes resistance. You think you're being patient, but deep down, you know you've been hiding. You're waiting for a sign, but the sign has already appeared 100 times. Heaven isn't sending another confirmation because the message has already been delivered. You're the one who hasn't answered. You're not waiting on timing. Timing is waiting on you. Heaven moves at the speed of your obedience, not your comfort. The blessings that belong to you have been positioned in your path, but they can only manifest through your participation. Many people think divine favor means ease, but it often demands courage. Heaven doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It waits for faithful action. You've been feeling the pull in your spirit, the gentle but persistent call to step out, to create, to speak, to shift something. That restlessness you feel is not anxiety. It's divine agitation. It's heaven stirring your spirit, shaking you from comfort because your calling can no longer fit inside your excuses. The delay is not demonic, it's self-imposed. Heaven cannot pour new oil into hands that remain idle. You already carry what you're waiting for, the strength, the vision, the ability. It's all been downloaded into your soul, but spiritual gifts only activate in motion. Heaven does not empower those who stand still. It empowers those who begin. Action is the language of faith. Every step you take, even when uncertain, sends a signal to heaven. I'm ready to receive. The universe rearranges itself for those who dare to move. Waiting feels safe, but it keeps you invisible to your destiny. You cannot stay in hiding and expect heaven to announce your arrival. There's a difference between preparation and procrastination. Preparation builds momentum. Procrastination builds fear. You've been calling your hesitation wisdom, but it's really worry disguised as logic. Heaven isn't asking you to know the outcome, it's asking you to trust the process. You don't need the full picture, you only need to take the next step. The path will reveal itself as you walk. Every time you hesitate, you delay the divine timeline that was designed for your rise. The longer you wait, the louder the spiritual tension becomes. That pressure you feel right now is not punishment, it's potential, trying to escape confinement. The truth is, heaven has already opened the doors. The opportunities have been aligned, the people have been placed, the timing has been set. But divine doors only respond to motion. They don't unlock because you pray, they unlock because you move. Prayer prepares your spirit, but action opens your destiny. The universe was designed to respond to vibration, and the most powerful vibration is movement. You don't attract what you wish for, you attract what you're willing to walk toward. Think about the moments when you acted on instinct, even when you were scared. Those weren't coincidences, those were heaven's hand guiding you through courage. Each time you obeyed that inner voice, even slightly, the atmosphere around you shifted. You felt peace in chaos. You noticed progress where there used to be delay. That's how heaven works. It responds to faith in motion. The divine can multiply a seed, but it cannot multiply hesitation. This is why stagnation feels so painful for you. You are not built for stillness, you are built for impact. The heaviness you feel when you ignore your intuition isn't depression, it's spiritual suffocation. Your soul is ready to move, but your mind is still negotiating with fear. The energy of your purpose is too large to remain confined in old patterns. Heaven is waiting for your yes, not just in words, but in movement. Chosen one, you are not behind schedule, you are just behind your obedience. Every delay you've faced, every unanswered prayer, every closed door, it's all been heaven's way of saying, move first, then I'll meet you there. You keep asking for confirmation, but the truth is you are the confirmation. The desire you feel is not random, it's divine instruction disguised as curiosity. The idea in your heart is not a coincidence, it's an assignment. Heaven doesn't repeat itself, it waits for you to respond. And deep down you already know what to do. The vision has been haunting your dreams, the plan keeps resurfacing no matter how much you try to ignore it. That nudge to leave, to start, to speak, to create, it's not your imagination, it's your calling. And heaven will keep reminding you until you act. The longer you wait, the louder the reminders become. Your peace will only return when your purpose does. You keep saying you're waiting for divine timing, but divine timing is waiting for your motion. Faith without action is just potential energy. Heaven aligns with movement, not intention. Every second you hesitate, another blessing stands still in your atmosphere. The miracle isn't postponed, it's paused. You have the power to press play. The moment you move, everything waiting in the unseen starts shifting in your favor. The ideas gain traction, the right people appear, the momentum returns. Because movement breaks stagnation. Do not underestimate the spiritual power of one decision. One bold step can reroute your entire destiny. One yes can activate 1,000 hidden blessings. You don't have to know where it leads, you just have to begin. Heaven multiplies action faster than fear can destroy it. You've been praying for a sign that it's time. This message is that sign. The waiting season is over, the activation has begun. Heaven has been patient with you. It has given you confirmation after confirmation, but now the energy has shifted from waiting to readiness. You've crossed the line between potential and purpose. The angels assigned to your destiny are standing by, waiting for your command. Your words and your actions are the keys that unlock everything next. When you move, heaven moves. When you speak, heaven amplifies. When you believe enough to act, you prove that you trust divine timing more than human logic. You are not meant to wonder what could happen, you are meant to cause it to happen. The world is waiting for the version of you that acts boldly without apology. The version that doesn't just talk about faith, but lives it in motion. Because heaven can't build momentum for a heart that stays still. The next miracle isn't waiting in prayer, it's waiting in progress. The time for waiting has ended. Heaven has been waiting for you to act, and the moment you do, everything that's been on hold will begin to flow again. When heaven waits, it's not because you've been forgotten, it's because the divine system runs on alignment, not urgency. The moment your action matches your calling, everything that was paused begins to move again. But that alignment can't happen through thought alone, it requires movement. Heaven responds to steps, not stillness. You've prayed, dreamed, written plans, and visualized outcomes, yet something deep inside you knows. Until you take that first step, your blessings will remain suspended, waiting for activation. The delay isn't punishment, it's divine patience, allowing you time to believe in yourself enough to move. You've asked, why hasn't it happened yet? But the better question is, what haven't I done yet? There's a specific motion heaven has been waiting for, a word you haven't spoken, a door you haven't knocked on, a boundary you haven't set, a leap you've been too afraid to take. The blessing is not being withheld, it's being stored until your vibration rises to meet it. Faith without movement is like a seed left unplanted. It contains potential but bears no fruit. You've been carrying spiritual seeds that can only grow in the soil of action. The rain is ready, the light is ready, but heaven will not waste water where you refuse to plant. The fear you've been feeling isn't a sign to stop. It's proof that something powerful is near. Fear often appears at the edge of transformation, not as a warning, but as a guardian. It wants to see if you'll move through it or retreat again. Every time you feel fear and act anyway, heaven rejoices because that moment rewrites your frequency from hesitation to faith. You've already been equipped. Fear just tests your awareness of it. Heaven is a mirror. It reflects what you radiate. If you move in confidence, creation echoes back. Opportunity. If you hesitate in doubt, creation mirrors delay. The universe doesn't punish, it responds. The spiritual law of motion is simple. As you move, energy multiplies. That's why clarity often arrives after, not before you begin. Waiting for everything to make sense before you move is like asking light to appear before flipping the switch. The light is already available. It's your motion that activates it. You were never meant to wait for motivation. You were meant to move and let motivation find you on the journey. Inspiration is born in momentum. You can't think your way into courage. You have to step your way into it. Heaven has been whispering to you through signs, synchronicities, sudden thoughts, coincidences that aren't coincidences. Each one was a nudge to begin, but the whispers are getting louder now, turning into restlessness, because heaven can only wait so long before destiny shifts elsewhere. Your purpose is time-sensitive, not because it will expire, but because others are connected to your obedience. There are people waiting for your courage to activate their own. When you move, you don't just change your life, you change theirs. The ripple effect of one act of faith is infinite. The business you start, the art you create, the boundary you set, the truth you speak, all of it sends vibrations into the world that reach beyond what you can see. Heaven operates through partnership. Miracles don't fall from the sky, they flow through hands that are willing to move, but to act you must release the illusion of control. You've been trying to plan the outcome before you begin, but heaven doesn't work that way. Faith is not about knowing what happens next, it's about trusting who designed the next. The path will never reveal itself in full, it unfolds with each step. The longer you try to see everything ahead, the longer you stay still. Heaven doesn't reward clarity, it rewards courage. Action itself is a prayer. Every time you move with faith, you are saying, I trust the divine timing, even when I can't see it. Heaven doesn't just hear your words, it measures your movement. When your steps align with your words, the vibration becomes irresistible. The doors that once refused to open will unlock at your approach, not because you begged harder, but because you finally carried the energy heaven was waiting for. This is why the spiritual realm responds so powerfully to decisive energy. Indecision creates interference. It divides your vibration, sending mixed signals into the universe. You can't ask for expansion and cling to fear at the same time. You can't pray for clarity and still entertain confusion. The moment your energy becomes single-minded, heaven accelerates everything. It's not that the blessing took long, it's that you were sending mixed frequencies. The universe doesn't delay, it waits for coherence. And once you step into coherence, everything begins to synchronize. The right people appear without effort. The timing aligns perfectly. The path clears itself because the path was never outside of you. It was encoded within you the whole time. Heaven's timing isn't random, it's responsive. It moves the moment you do. The doors are not locked, they're voice activated by your faith. Speak, act, move. Heaven has already invested in you, the dreams that won't leave you alone, the gifts that feel too big for where you are. Those are proof of that investment. You don't need more signs, you need to start. The angels assigned to your purpose cannot guide motionless feet. Every time you move, they rearrange reality to match your step. You're not waiting for divine help, it's waiting for your command. So breathe deeply, silence the what-ifs and take that step, even if it's small. Even if it feels uncertain. Heaven doesn't require perfection, only participation. Every act of faith, no matter how small, sends a signal through the unseen that the time for waiting has ended. The divine is not holding your blessings hostage, it's holding them safely until you rise and claim them. Heaven has been waiting for you to act. The moment you do, the atmosphere around you will shift. The energy will rise and everything meant for you will begin to move toward you, as if it had been waiting its whole existence for this exact moment. Because it has. When you finally act, something sacred begins to happen. The atmosphere shifts. The weight that once sat heavy on your shoulders lifts, not because the circumstances have changed, but because you have. Every step you take sends a message through the unseen. I am ready. And heaven responds immediately. The invisible gears of destiny start to turn, aligning people, moments, and opportunities with a precision no human could ever plan. The universe doesn't wait for clarity, it waits for motion. That is when you begin to experience divine acceleration. What once took years starts happening in days. What used to feel blocked suddenly flows. Heaven was never silent, it was waiting for your signal to begin. The beauty of movement is that it activates faith in ways you could never access through thought alone. Fear cannot survive in the same space as motion. The moment you act, fear loses its grip because it feeds on stillness. You realize that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving in spite of it. Heaven celebrates every imperfect step you take because obedience speaks louder than confidence. You don't have to be fearless, you only have to be willing. That willingness creates spiritual momentum that even doubt can't destroy. As you start moving, divine timing begins to reveal its intelligence. You'll notice how everything fits together. The delays that once frustrated you now make sense. The people who left, the seasons that ended, the unanswered prayers, they were all rearranging your path so that nothing could interfere when this moment arrived. Heaven was never denying you, it was defending you from what you couldn't yet see. Some doors didn't open because your energy wasn't ready. Some connections fell away because they couldn't carry your next assignment. Everything that left was clearing the runway for takeoff. The more you move, the more you feel supported by unseen forces. The coincidences become too specific to ignore. The right message finds you at the right time. The idea that once felt impossible suddenly finds resources, people, and momentum. You start to realize that faith was never supposed to be still. It was meant to be kinetic. Heaven responds not to waiting, but to willingness. And when you act, the world rearranges itself around your belief. Your vibration changes too. There's a new calm in your presence, a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. You're not rushing, but you're no longer stuck. You've entered the divine rhythm where peace and progress coexist. This is what alignment feels like, not frantic movement, but effortless flow. You're not chasing your destiny anymore, you're walking in step with it. Each day feels guided, not pressured. You don't have to force what's already flowing. Heaven begins to carry you like a current, gently but powerfully, toward everything meant for you. And yet with new movement comes new responsibility. The divine will now begin testing your consistency. Heaven doesn't just watch for your first step, it watches for your follow-through. Many people begin strong, then return to comfort when momentum slows, but consistency is how heaven measures readiness. You must keep moving even when the results aren't visible yet. The unseen world always reacts before the physical does. Don't mistake maintenance for absence, it's gestation. The blessing is forming, but heaven is watching if you will continue to act in faith without evidence. That's where the greatest growth happens. You will feel resistance again. It's part of the process. Not every day will be full of motivation, but now you know, movement creates motivation. Every time you choose action over overthinking, the energy reignites. Every time you move, even when you're unsure, heaven sends confirmation disguised as progress. Maybe it's a message, a chance encounter, or an unexpected breakthrough. It's heaven's way of saying, keep going. I see you. This journey will teach you that faith and action are the same energy expressed differently. Faith is internal movement. Action is faith made visible. The two must dance together or the divine plan cannot manifest. That's why so many prayers go unanswered, not because they're wrong, but because they never left the realm of words. Heaven needs partnership, not spectators. It doesn't bless hesitation, it blesses participation. As you continue walking in obedience, your life begins to feel lighter, clearer, and more purposeful. You start to sense divine rhythm in everything, your decisions, your timing, your relationships. The right doors no longer need to be forced, they open when you arrive. You are no longer begging heaven to remember you. Heaven is moving through you. You've shifted from waiting to co-creating. The divine is no longer something distant and mysterious. It's alive in your motion, breathing through your choices. You begin to understand why the wait was so long. It was never about preparation of the world around you, it was about preparation of you. Heaven needed your energy stable, your trust mature, your spirit willing, because once you begin to move in divine rhythm, heaven cannot hold back anymore. The blessings start flowing in waves, not drops. The signs multiply. The confirmations strengthen. Everything begins to echo your faith. And with every step you take, heaven whispers, finally. Because this was never about timing, it was about readiness. The moment you acted, everything that had been waiting in the unseen started running toward you. You are no longer in delay, you are in alignment. The miracle didn't begin when you prayed, it began when you moved. When you begin walking in alignment, heaven doesn't just respond, it collaborates. You start to feel that life is no longer something happening to you, but something happening with you. The divine no longer feels distant or conditional, it feels participatory, like a conversation that unfolds through every decision you make. Each action becomes a sentence, each step a declaration. I trust what I cannot yet see, and as you move, the unseen responds. Paths appear where there were none, delays dissolve into divine timing, the rhythm between you and heaven becomes seamless, like breathing. You move, heaven moves, and the world begins to flow with you. This is where you start understanding the nature of divine partnership. Heaven does not hand you the finished miracle, it gives you the blueprint and the strength to build it. Each day becomes an act of co-creation. The small decisions you make, choosing peace over pressure, faith over fear, gratitude over doubt, begin shaping your external reality. You start realizing that your spiritual authority was never about waiting for permission. It was about realizing you already had it. You are not just a participant in your story. You are a vessel through which heaven fulfills its will. Every inspired idea, every divine nudge, every moment of courage is heaven expressing itself through you. But as the blessings begin to move faster, so will the distractions. The moment your faith gains power, resistance will return in new disguises, doubt, fatigue, impatience, even overconfidence. These are not punishments, they're calibrations. Heaven is ensuring your movement stays pure. You'll be reminded that speed without direction leads to chaos, and momentum without mindfulness can drain the spirit. The key is balance, knowing when to act and when to rest, when to push forward and when to pause and listen. Heaven doesn't reward constant motion, it rewards aligned motion. In this stage, your greatest strength will be consistency. You will notice that blessings are not sustained by excitement, but by endurance. The universe will test if you can keep showing up when the emotions fade, when the applause quiets, when no one is watching. That's where mastery is born. The chosen ones are not those who move once, they are those who keep moving when the world slows down. Every repeated act of faith carves deeper alignment into your destiny. Heaven doesn't need perfection, it needs persistence. You will also learn that your movement influences more than just your own path. The energy you carry begins to awaken others. People around you will start sensing something different. They'll feel peace in your presence, conviction in your words, and purpose in your silence. You won't need to convince them of your growth. Your energy will speak for you. This is how heaven works. It transforms individuals into catalysts. Your obedience becomes someone else's awakening. You don't just move for yourself anymore, you move for every soul your light will touch. Still, there will be moments when the path feels quiet again. Heaven will step back, not to abandon you, but to strengthen your intuition. Silence is not absence, it's trust. When the divine knows you can walk without constant signs, it starts trusting you with greater influence. This is when your discernment becomes your guide. You begin to rely less on external reassurance and more on your inner knowing. You understand that even when you can't hear heaven, you're still walking inside its will. Every time you choose faith in uncertainty, you refine your spiritual identity. You're no longer the person who needs confirmation before moving. You're the one heaven can count on to move first. That's what divine maturity looks like. Heaven doesn't only want to bless you, it wants to trust you. It wants to know that when it gives you influence, peace, or power, you won't lose yourself in them. And the only way that trust is earned is through consistent, courageous action in silence. This is where the partnership deepens, where you realize that heaven was never testing your patience, it was training your posture. It wanted you to stand firm, to act without fear, to create without needing validation. The lessons that once broke you now build you. The waiting that once hurt you now anchors you. You no longer move from desperation, you move from devotion. That's the difference between striving and serving, between forcing and flowing. By now you can feel it, the alignment, the calm, the quiet strength that comes from knowing heaven is no longer waiting on you but working with you. You're not chasing signs, you've become one. You're not searching for blessings, you're living inside them. And as you breathe in this new awareness, you realize that you were never behind, never forgotten, never overlooked. Every delay was direction. Every silence was strategy. Heaven's timing was never late. It was waiting for your courage to synchronize with your calling. You are now walking in divine rhythm, where your movement has become the echo of heaven's heartbeat. And that rhythm will carry you into everything that's next. When the time finally comes, you feel it, not as noise, but as knowing. The heaviness that once kept you still is gone. The hesitation, the fear, the endless waiting for a sign, all of it fades into a deep calm that tells you it's already happening. Heaven was never far away. It was always waiting for this moment, for your action, your decision, your alignment. You've crossed the invisible threshold between potential and purpose. The moment you moved, the spiritual current shifted in your favor. You didn't just activate blessings, you activated yourself. You can sense it in the smallest things now. The air feels lighter, your intuition sharper. The patterns of your life start forming divine symmetry. What used to feel random now feels guided. The people you meet carry meaning, the timing of events carries purpose, and even your challenges feel like choreography designed by something greater. Heaven has always been orchestrating, but now you can hear the rhythm. You're no longer standing outside your destiny, you're walking inside it. Action has become your new prayer. Every movement is an offering, every choice a declaration of faith. You no longer wait for miracles, you create space for them through motion. This is what divine partnership looks like. Heaven builds, but your steps lay the foundation. The old fear of getting it wrong is gone because you finally understand. There's no wrong path when your intention is pure. Heaven can reroute anything except hesitation. The only true failure was never trying. Now that you've moved, you've already won. The waiting you once called delay was actually preparation for this peace. You had to grow strong enough to hold what's coming, wise enough to sustain it, and humble enough to use it well. The blessings that once seemed far away are now flowing towards you, not as chaos, but as confirmation. You can feel the energy of heaven working through you. It's in the way doors open smoothly, the way intuition leads you faster than logic, the way peace follows your obedience like a shadow. That's the mark of divine partnership: effort with ease, motion with meaning, faith with flow. You've also learned the sacred truth. Heaven doesn't reward perfection, it rewards movement. Every flawed step you took still counted. Every small act of faith still echoed in the unseen. You never had to be fearless, you just had to be willing. And that willingness changed everything. The universe recognizes you now by your frequency, steady, clear, decisive. You've become a living signal to the divine, and everything that matches that vibration is finding you with precision. You've stopped chasing, you've stopped begging, you've started becoming. You walk now with quiet authority, not because everything is certain, but because you trust what guides you.